How would you like to build a loyal following of die-hard fans that are going to come to all your shows, buy all your albums, buy all your merch, and share your music with their friends? Well, you're in luck because that's exactly what we're going to cover in today's video. Last week on the YouTube channel, Orlando York asked, do you have any videos on how to create die-hard fans? Well, yeah, it's something I've addressed to some degree in a lot of videos, but it's not something that I've created a full video on. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How to create die-hard fans. People that are going to come to all your shows, spend money with you, buy your albums, wear your t-shirts, and most importantly, share your music with their friends. Because that's really what we want. I mean, it's really important for you to make money with your music career, of course, because that's how you're going to be able to support yourself. And it's how you're going to grow your following by being able to take that money and put it back into promotion and marketing. But the best form of marketing is word of mouth. Like when you hear about a new artist from one of your friends, you're a lot more likely to listen to their music and become a fan than if you just happen to hear it on the radio or something. And major labels know that, and that's kind of part of their strategy is spend enough money to get the music out to as many people as possible that you're reaching that percentage of those people, like whatever percentage that is, you're reaching those people that are really going to like it and they're going to share it with their friends. And for them, it's a numbers game. But for you as an independent artist, unfortunately, you probably don't have a couple $100,000 to put into promoting your next album. So you can't play that same game. You can't try to get your music out to so many people that you're inevitably going to reach those people that are going to really like the music and share it with their friends. So as an independent artist, you really have to take a little bit of a different approach. All right, so think about a friend that you have that's a musician. I mean, I would think we could all probably relate to this. At some point in your life, you've had a friend that was a musician that you really wanted to support. Maybe you went to some of their shows or bought their album. And because they're your friend, you really want to support their career. And you really like to help them succeed in some way, but you might not really have been that big of a fan of their music. Not necessarily that it's bad, but that it's just not your style of music, or it's not something that you would sit at home and listen to if they weren't your friend, you know? And that happens a lot because, you know, if we're somebody's friend, we really want to support them, right? But if we aren't a fan of their music, it's just we aren't a fan of their music. Now, on the other hand, maybe think about a time where you discovered a new artist that you were just in love with, an artist that you would gladly pay money for their album, that you would happily buy their merch, or at the very least, you would really like to go see them perform live, or maybe you have seen them perform live. And most importantly, an artist that you shared with your friends. Like you like this artist, you like their music so much, you want to go out and share it with your friends because you want your friends to be fans too. All right, I know that's something that we can all relate to, because we all have those artists that we really love, that we're diehard fans of. All right, now imagine that you have a friend who you really want to support and you really want to see them succeed, and you're that big of a fan of their music that not only are you going to spend money to buy their album and go to their shows, but that you also, more importantly, want to share it with your friends and bring them to the show with you. Okay, now that's a diehard fan. And that's really what we're going for here. Focus on those people that already like our music and then connect with them, like build enough of a connection where they become that diehard fan. Now, when I say friend plus fan, I'm not saying that you have to be best friends with all of your fans, that you guys are going to go out and have dinner together and party together. I'm not saying that, but it is a good way to think about this. Like, it's a good way to shift your mentality about the way that you interact with your fans and start to think of your relationships and your interactions with your fans as though you are trying to build a friendship. Like if a fan sends you a direct message on Instagram, think about how you would interact with them if they were a friend of yours and not just some random person that's following you on Instagram, right? Like if somebody sends you a direct message on Instagram that's a fan that says, "Oh man, I love your music," you might respond like, "Oh, thank you," or sometimes, unfortunately, we don't respond at all, but so you definitely want to respond to your fans as long as they're not, saying anything creepy or negative. But if a friend messaged you on Instagram, you'd probably have a conversation with them, right? So think about that. Like if a fan reaches out to you and says, hey, I really like your music, instead of just saying, oh, thanks, or worse, ignoring them altogether, respond to them. And you might respond with a question that encourages them to respond back. And then you're creating a conversation. So if they say, hey, I really like your music, you might respond and say, oh, thanks, how did you hear about me? Or thanks, what track on my last album do you like? Or something like that. That gives them a chance to respond. And now you're creating a dialogue. And that's one of the best ways to really build that relationship, is that direct interaction, which is something that, as a small independent artist, you can actually do. Major artists, these big artists that have 2 million followers on Instagram, they don't have time to actually interact with everybody. It's not something that they can really do. But when you only have like a handful of people direct messaging you each day or each week, you can easily find the time to interact with them and start building that connection. And it can really pay off in the long run, because you can increase your fan base exponentially by doing this sort of thing. Because remember, the best fan is a fan that's going to share your music with their friends. So if you convert 10 fans that are just, following you on Instagram that like your music into those diehard fans that are going to tell all of their friends, and each one of those 10 people brings you 5 of their friends that are now fans, now all of a sudden your fan base has grown from 10 people to 50 people. And then you keep doing that. You keep connecting with fans until eventually you might not have time to connect with all your fans because you have so many. Hopefully, that's the ideal. So direct interaction with fans online, on social, is great. Even better is if you can do it in person. So whenever you play live shows, obviously when you're on stage, if you might want to interact with the crowd a little bit. But after the show, that's a great time to hang out, meet some of your fans, and start to build a connection with those fans. Like, again, think about how you would treat your friends if they came to see your show. If you had friends come to see you perform live, you wouldn't just go off stage and go home. You would probably go say hi to them after the show, like, hi, thanks for coming out. And that's how you want to treat your fans. You don't have to go around bothering them, but come off, if you're playing at a bar or something and you go off stage and you go hang out by the bar for a little bit, give them the opportunity to come hang out with you, come talk to you. Maybe they'll come over to tell you that they really liked your set, they really like your music, want to buy you a shot, whatever. So that's always something you can do. Ideally, you have a merch booth where you're selling t-shirts, hats, albums, all that good stuff. And then you just go hang out by the merch booth. And I would absolutely suggest having a merch booth. And when you get off stage, I would tell the entire audience, hey, look, I'm going to be at the merch booth. Come hang out. I'm going to be hanging out there for a little while. Come talk, chat, whatever. And that way they come over, they hang out with you, they get to know you, and they also might buy some merch at the same time. And then they get to wear a t-shirt with your name on it or your band's name on it, and then you get free advertising. But more importantly, you're connecting with them, you're interacting with them, converting them into diehard fans. All right, so what are some other ways to connect with your fans? Well, create lots of content. So this is key. It's important to interact with your fans, whether it's online or offline. That's the best way to build that relationship. But not all of your fans are going to be direct messaging you. Not all of them are going to be coming to your shows. You might not be playing a lot of shows right now, but you still want to grow your fan base. And the best way that you can do that is to create lots of content. So obviously music, this is the main way that you're going to connect with your audience because you're a musician, right? So the more prolific you are, the more frequently you're releasing music, the better, because it's more opportunities to engage with your fans. Like, you want to be creating lots of content. I'm going to give you several examples of different kinds of content beyond just music that you can release, but it's really important that you're releasing on a regular basis, because not only are you giving your fans value, giving them some reason to interact with you, giving them some way to engage with you, whether it's simply to listen to your music or read a blog post or whatever, it's also reminding them that you're around. Because if you go a really long time without engaging with your fans, without giving them something, without reminding them that you exist, especially when you're a small-time artist and there's a million other artists out there that they could be listening to, they'll forget about you. So you want to be creating lots of content to stay fresh on their mind. Try to be prolific about releasing music. There are a lot of pros and cons to releasing singles versus releasing albums. A lot of people are saying that we're moving back into a singles market, which very well may be the case. There's still a lot of really good reasons why you would want to release an album instead of just singles. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now, but one of the benefits to releasing singles versus albums is that you have more opportunities to engage with your fans. So let's say this year you're going to release an album with 12 songs on it. So if you were to release one song a month, by the end of the year, the entire album would be out. Or you could just release the whole album at the end of the year. Either way, at the end of the year, all the fans have 12 new songs from you, right? But if you release them as singles, you get to be reaching out to your fans with a new piece of music, a new reason to engage with them, to connect with them every single month, versus an album release where they still get all the songs, but it's only one release that you can create engagement around versus 12 releases. So something to think about there. You can also release videos, and there's lots of different ways to release videos. It doesn't always have to be your official music video, although that is absolutely something you should be doing, is releasing official versions of your video. You could release videos of live performances, rehearsals, just hanging out backstage, videos of you in the studio, whatever. Videos are great content that people love to engage with. Same with social media, posts, and especially stories now. You know, those short little videos. Pretty much every social media platform has it, I think now. It's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Anyway, those are the ones that, you know, people use stories on a lot. It's just short little video clips that give your fans some insight into what's going on with you, and after 24 hours they go away. So you can save your stories if you have a particularly good, you know, set of stories for a day, but otherwise, you know, they're gone in 24 hours, so you don't really have to think too much about what you're doing. You probably don't want to do anything stupid on your stories, but you can just pull out your phone, record a little snippet for your fans a couple times a day. That's a great way to stay on top of their mind and create content to engage with them. The email newsletter, absolutely. You need to be doing email marketing if you're not already. It's a fantastic way to keep your fans up to date with what's going on with you. Also, anytime you have new music coming out, new videos, anything, you can always email your list and let them know about it. So definitely want to be building an email list. Blog posts. Now, this isn't for everybody, but if you're a writer, someone in your band's a writer and enjoys that, you know, that's another way that you can connect with fans, by posting regularly on your blog or doing a podcast. Again, not something you would have to do, but certainly it's another piece of content that'll help keep your fans engaged, help you build a connection with them. And it's also another medium to reach people that you might not reach through social media or blog posts. You know, because some people just really like listening to podcasts. Also being a guest on somebody else's podcast or a guest on someone else's blog. I mean, that's all stuff that you can do. That's all just some ideas. But the most important thing is create lots of content. These are just some examples of the type of content that you would want to release. But most importantly, interact with fans. So whether it's online, through chat, or in person, you want to interact with fans. Interacting with fans in person is going to be the best way to build that connection. It's just more personal. So when you're performing a live show, that's going to be your best opportunity to create those diehard fans, to build the connection and create those diehard fans. But you can also do it online just by engaging with fans online too. So that's how you create diehard fans. I wish I could tell you that there's just a pill you take and then all of a sudden you have a ton of diehard fans, but that's really how you do it. It's about connecting with fans. It's really that simple. Now, it could be a lot of work to make it happen, but at the core of it, it's really simple. It's just connect with fans, build a relationship with your fans. Then they'll want to support your career. They'll want to come to your shows. They'll want to spend money with you. They'll want to share your music with their friends. All right, so I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and comment in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and tick the little bell icon to be notified when new videos are released. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.